A warm welcome to one and all. I am Professor S. Papi Urani from Department of Obstetrics and Gynecological Nursing and a faculty of College of Nursing. Today, I am going to talk about anatomy of heart. The heart is an amazing pump that works non-stop, keeping the body alive. With every beat, it sends a surge of a bright red blood carrying vital supplies such as oxygen and body waste products such as carbon dioxide through a network of blood vessels to and from every part of the body. So, this is an important vital organ which is present in each one's body, which works non-stop and an amazing pump. So, heart. The heart is a chambered muscular organ that pumps blood received from our veins into the arteries, thereby by maintaining the flow of blood through the entire circulatory system. The heart has four chambers, as you all know, so it maintains the complete blood flow through the entire circulatory system. The heart is surrounded by the membrane called perimetrium. This is the only membrane which covers the heart. What is perimetrium? The perimetrium is a fibroserous sac that encloses the heart and the roots of the great vessels. The pericardium lies within the middle of mediastinum, where the heart, that is the apex of the heart. So the pericardium has a fluid called pericardial fluid. You can see in this picture the structure of the heart which shows the pericardium and the pericardial fluid. You can see the structure of the heart which is placed in the human body. So here you can see the sternum, the heart and the pericardium. The pericardium. Its function is to restrict excessive movements of the heart as a whole and to serve as a lubricated container in which the different parts of the heart can contract. So that is the main function of the pericardium, which restrict excessive movements of the heart, and it also serves as a container, lubricant container, which different parts of the heart can contract. Pericardium, a double sac around the heart, consists of the following, that is, a superficial fibrous pericardium, a deep two-layer serous pericardium. In that, first one is the parietal layer that lies the internal surface of the fibrous pericardium. The vesicular layer or epicardium lies the surface of the heart. They are separated by the fluid filled called as pericardial cavity. As I told you before, it's a pericardial cavity which is separated by the visceral layer or the periepicardium. You can see in this picture the pericardium and the myocardium. The outer layer is the pericardium and the inner layer is the myocardium. Can you see the parts of the pericardium, that is the fibrous pericardium, parietal layer of the serous pericardium, pericardial cavity, visceral layer of serous pericardium, that is the epicardium, myocardium, endocardium, and the heart chamber. This visceral layer of pericardium, epicardium, myocardium, and endocardium together is called as the heart wall. So here you can see the clear examination of the picture which shows the heart wall, that is the pericardium, myocardium, and endocardium. The relationship between the heart and the pericardial fluid. You can see that is the cut edge of the parietal pericardium, which has the fibrous tissue, areolar tissue, mesoepithelium, and the cut section of the pericardium, which connects to the apex of the heart. When you imagine the wrist, that is the component that corresponds to the base of the heart, it will show you the inner wall that is corresponding to the visceral pericardium, the hair surface that corresponds to the pericardial cavity and a balloon, and the outer wall which corresponds to the pericardial, that is parietal pericardium. So this is the structure of the pericardium which is covered with the which covers the heart. And what happens to the blood supply of the pericardium? The blood supply, the pericardium blood supply is from the cardiophrenic branches of internal thoracic arteries. The nerve supply, the pericardium nerve supplies the fibrous pericardium, and the parietal layer of the serous pericardium are supplied by the purinic nerve. This is the blood supply and the nerve supply. Next is the heart wall. You all know that is the epicardium. The visceral layer of the serous pericardium is the epicardium. Myocardium, it is also called as the cardiac muscle layer, which forms the bulk of the heart. Next is the fibrous skeleton of the heart that lies in the crisscrossing, interlacing layer of a connective tissue. And next, endocardium. It is the endothelial layer of the inner myocardial surface. So that is the heart wall. As I told you before, it is an epicardium, myocardium, fibrous skeleton, and the endocardium. So the difference between pericardium and endocardium. So pericardium, it is an outer protective layer which is composed of visceral pericardium, pericardial activity, pericardial cavity, and pericardium parietal pericardium. And endocardium, it is the deepest layer of the heart, the smooth lining which reduces the friction of the blood flow. And what is there in myocardium? It is the middle layer of the heart. The location of the muscle fibers are responsible for pumping of the heart. So this is the heart wall and the difference between pericardium, endocardium and myocardium. So heart wall, you can see a clear picture of this as fibrous layer and the serous layer, which has the visceral pericardium. The second layer is the myocardium, and the last layer, the innermost layer, is called as the endocardium. So outside is the pericardial cavity. So what are these cells? That is the cells or epithelium which lines the heart structure. That is the simple squamous. The outer layer is the simple squamous epithelium, and next layer is the loose connective tissue and the fat, and the third layer is the epicardium, which is made up of visceral pericardium, and middle that is called as myocardium, and last is the endocardium, which is the tubercle carinae. So this is the heart structure and the heart wall. Next, the heart. The heart is a hollow muscular organ that is somewhat pyramid shaped and lies within the pericardium in the mediastinum. It is connected at its base to the greater blood vessels but otherwise lie free within the pericardium. So you can see where the heart lies exactly. That is the mediasternal line between the second rib of the sternum, diaphragm point of maximal intensity. So that is in the right leg is above the heart, and the you can see the parts of the heart which is superior vena cava, left lung, aorta, pericardial pleura, pulmonary trunk, parietal pericardium, that is the cut section, and the apex of the heart and the diaphragm where the heart finishes and ends up with the diaphragm. This is the structure of parts of the heart. So the heart surfaces. When you see the heart surfaces, we have three surfaces. That is the anterior surface, that is sternocostal surface, comprises of right atrium, atrioventricular groove, right ventricular, a small strip of left ventricle, and the areole of the left artery. Next, the inferior surface, that is the diaphragmatic surface, comprises that the right atrium, atrioventricular groove and both ventricles separated by the intraventricular groove. The posterior surface that comprises the left atrium receiving the four pulmonary veins. This is the heart structure. Can you see this picture which shows the differentiation between the anterior, inferior and posterior surface of the heart? Next, the four chambers. The four chambers are two atrium, that is right atrium and left atrium, two ventricles, that is right and left ventricles. You can see here in this picture the aorta, pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, left atrium, left ventricle, this side left ventricle, right atrium, right ventricle, inferior vena cava, and then pulmonary valve and superior vena cava. All these are present in this structure of the heart. Next is the atrium. What is the atrium? The features of atrium. It is small, thin-walled chambers function receiving chambers from blood returning to the heart from its circulation. It pushes the blood into the adjacent ventricles. Next, it receives the blood from a right side superior and inferior vena cava, coronary sinus, draining the myocardium, left side pulmonary veins. So this is the function of the atrium, right atrium and the left atrium. And next is ventricle. So when you see the ventricle, the features are it makes the uppermost of the mass of the heart. The walls of the left ventricle are 3 into thicker than those of the right. So you can see the cross section, that is the posterior inferior ventricle sinus, left ventricle, fat in the anterior intraventricular sulcus, and when it is contracted you can see in this B picture. When it is dilated you can see in this A picture, that is right ventricle and the left ventricle. And then functions: discharging chambers of the heart propel blood in the pulmonary trunk, that is right ventricle aorta and the left ventricle. The right atrium, it receives deoxygenated blood from the inferior vena cava below and from the superior vena cava above. It receives the coronary sinus in its lower part. The upper end of the atrium projects to the left of the superior vena cava as the right auricle. You can see here in this picture the red side, that is the red mark. It shows the right atrium, tricuspid wall, and from the body. So it gives you the right auricle. And the and the sulcus terminus is a vertical groove on the outer surface of the atrium. The groove corresponds internally to the crista terminalis. Above the coronary sinus, the intra-arterial septum forms the posterior wall. The depression in the septum, the fossa ovalis, are present in the site of the foramen ovale. And then the wall of the inferior vena cava, you can see in this part, that is the wall of the coronary sinus, the tricuspid valve, atrioventricular septum, left auricle, sinus verinum, intravenous tubercle, musculi pentiti, and then limbus and fossa ovalis. This is some of the heart chambers. You can see this is the cross section. You can see the whatever it is explained before, you can see in this picture. And the right ventricle, it receives blood from the tricuspid atrium through the tricuspid valve. The edges of the valve cups are attached to the choroida tentica, which are in form attached below the pulmonary muscles. So here you can see where is the tricuspid valve in this picture, with the right atrium and the left ventricle with the pulmonary artery. And the valve of the right ventricle is thicker than that of the artery, but not as thick as that of the left ventricle. The valve contains a mass of muscular bundle known as tubercula carina. The infundibulum is a smooth-walled outflow tract of the right ventricle. The pulmonary valve is situated at the top of the infundibulum. It is composed of three semilunar cups. Blood flows through the valve and to the pulmonary arteries via pulmonary tract to be oxygenated in the lungs. So here you can see this picture, that is which shows the intraventricular septum, septomarginal tubercle, anterior pulmonary vessel, anterior cusp of the tricuspid valve. So you can see which connection to that's of the heart chambers. So this picture also explains the same. Next is the left ventricle. So it receives the oxygenated blood from the four pulmonary veins which drains posteriorly. So the cavity is smooth walled except from the atrial appendix. On the septal surface of the depression marks the fossa ovalis. So you can see that is the left side of the heart, that is from the lungs. You can get this aortic wall, mitral wall, left ventricle, left atrium, which is directly connected to the lungs. The mitral bicuspid wall guards the passage of the blood from the left atrium to the left ventricle. That is called as the bicuspid wall, otherwise called as mitral valve. And the left ventricle. The valve of the left ventricle is thicker than the right ventricle, but structure is same as similar that of the right ventricle. The thick valve is necessary to pump the oxygenated blood at high pressure through the systematic circulation. Tubercle carinae project from the wall with the papillary muscles attached to the mitral valve cusp edges by the way of choroida tentica. The vestibule is a smooth-walled part of the left ventricle which is located below the aortic arch. So you can see the aortic wall, aorta, and the uh, that is the aerial anterior papillary muscle, left atrioventrio-ostium. All this can be seen with the via the pulmonary trunk. So here is the other section of the heart, which shows the left side, left ventricle. And next, coming to the heart valves. Heart valves ensure the undirectionable blood flow through the heart. It is composed of an endocardium with the connective tissue core. Two major types are atrioventricular valves and semilunar valves. Here you can see in this picture, which shows the open and the closed section of the valve and its similar function. That is the fibrous skeleton, right atrium, left atrium, aortic wall, which is closed, and where you can see the bicuspid wall, and the front, that is the frontal section, transverse section, and the relaxed ventricles. This shows the which that is A, B, C, and D. And atrioventricular valves. Atrioventricular valves lies between the atrium and the ventricles. Right AV valve, that is tricuspid valve, light AV valve, that is bicuspid or mitral valve. AV valves prevent black flow of the blood with the aorta when the ventricles contract. Chordaea tentica anchor AV valves to pulmonary muscles of the ventricular wall, prevent prolapse of valve back into the atrium. You can see in this anterior view of the valve, that is myocardium, tricuspid right atrioventricular valve, mitral valve, aortic semilunar valve, pulmonary semilunar valve. Next is aortoventricular valve. So blood returning from the heart fills atrium, putting pressure against the atrioventricular valves. Atrioventricular valves forced open, and as ventricles fill, atrioventricular valves flips hanging limply into the ventricles. Aorta contract, forcing additional blood into the ventricles. Ventricles contract, forcing blood against atrioventricular valve cusps. Atrioventricular valves closes. Pulmonary muscles contract and cordia tendinous tighten, preventing valve flaps from everting into the aorta. So you can see the direction of the blood flow to the atrium, cusp of endoventricular valve, choriotentica, papillary muscle, atrium, and blood to the ventricles. Semilunar heart valves. Semilunar valves prevent black flow of the blood into the ventricles, have no choriotentica attachments. Aortic semilunar valve lies between the left ventricle and the aorta. Pulmonary semilunar valve lies between the right ventricle and the pulmonary trunk. Heart sounds, that is lumped up, you can be heard during this valves closing. That is lump closes during the atrioventricular valves. Duct closes at the semilunar valves. Semilunar valves. So you can see the aorta and the pulmonary artery. So as a ventricle contract and intraventricular pressure rises, blood is pushed up against the semilunar valves, forcing them to open. So as the semilunar valves closed, that is, as the ventricles relax and intraventricular pressure fails, blood flow back from the arteries, filling the cusps as semilunar valves and forcing them to close. This is what happened in the semilunar valve. Next, the heart valves. That is atrioventricular valves, halves, and semilunar valves. That is right atrioventricular tricuspid valve. It separates the heart atrium from the right ventricle, prevents black flow into the atrium. And left AV, that is bicuspid valve, separates the left atrium from the left ventricle, prevents black flow into the atrium. Pulmonary valve separates the right ventricle from the pulmonary arteries, prevents black flow after the ventricular contractions. An aortic valve separates the left ventricle from the aorta, prevents black flow. Heart valve, that is right acuspid valve, chordaea tentica, papillary valve, pulmonary semilunar valve, aortic semilunar valve, left AV, that is bicuspid valve. And these are the heart valves. You can see superior vena cava, right pulmonary artery, pulmonary trunk, right atrium, right pulmonary vein, that is fossa ovalis, pecticus muscles, tricuspid valve, right ventricle, inferior vena cava. All these are present. Along with the other side, there will be visceral pericardium, myocardium, intraventricular septum, pulmonary semilunar valve, aortic semilunar valve, mitral cuspid valve, left pulmonary vein, aorta, and left pulmonary artery. Arterial supply to the heart. The arterial supply of the heart is provided by the right and the left coronal arteries, which rises from the ascending aorta immediately above the aortic valve. Can you see in this picture the arterial supply from the aorta to the left coronary artery with the that is circumflex artery to the left anterior descending artery takes place with the right coronary artery. And coronary arteries. The origin of coronary arteries are as follows. The left coronary arteries rises from the aortic sinus immediately above the left posterior cusp of the aortic wall. The right coronary artery rises from the aortic sinus immediately above the anterior cusp of the aortic wall. Branches of coronary artery: right marginal artery, that is acute marginal artery; posterior intraventricular artery; sinoarterial nodal artery; arterio, that is arterioventricular nodal artery. Branches of left coronary artery: left anterior descending or anterior intraventricular artery that lies in the anterior fourth sulcus. Septal branches: it has septal branches and diagonal branches. Left marginal artery and left circumflex artery. Next is coronary arteries. You can see the path, that is superior vena cava, anastomosis of the junction of the vessels, right coronary artery, right atrium and marginal artery. Down you can see the posterior intraventricular artery, uh, anterior intraventricular artery, aorta, pulmonary tract, left coronary artery, left atrium, right ventricle and left ventricle. And here this shows the picture. It shows the blood supply to the aorta. Venous drainage of the heart. Most of the blood from the heart walls drains into the right atrium through the coronary sinus, which lies in the posterior part of the atrioventricular groove. It is the continuation of the greater cardiac vein. It opens into the right atrium to the left of the inferior vena cava. This picture also gives you the clear image of the venous drainage. That is, the darker line shows the left marginal vein, posterior vein, or left ventricle, medial cardial vein, oblique vein, greater cardiac vein, left pulmonary vein, and pulmonary tract and aorta. So, venous drainage of the heart. You can see here the greater cardiac vein, coronary sinus, middle cardiac vein, small cardiac vein, with relation to the cardiac veins and superior vena cava. Nerve supply of the heart. The heart is intercalated by sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve fibers of the autonomic nervous system via the cardiac plexus situated below the arch of the aorta. The sympathetic supply arises from the cervical and upper thoracic portion of the sympathetic tract, and parasympathetic supply comes from the vagus nerves. You can see this picture, the aorta, the pulmonary vena cava, and the pulmonary artery, where you can see the coronary artery, circumflex artery, left anterior descending artery, coronary venous in blue you can see, and in red you can see this left anterior descending artery and right coronary artery, which supplies blood from the right atrium, right ventricle, bottom portion of the left ventricle, and back to the septum. And coronary venous is blue, that is bright blood, is the bring back the blood to the heart from the other parts of the body. Left anterior descending artery, it supplies blood to the front of the bottom and the left ventricle in front of the septum. Circumflex artery supplies blood to the left atrium, side of the back of the left ventricle. Left coronary artery divides into two branches, that is circumflex artery and left anterior descending artery. And here in this picture, the anterior aspect of the coronary circulation, that is aortic arch, left pulmonary artery, left main coronary artery, anterior intraventricular arch, diagonal branch, right cardiac vein, inferior vena cava, small cardiac vein, right ventricular branch of RAC, sinoarterial nodal artery. So this picture also gives you the blood supply, that is the first septal, posterior lateral, left main, left circumflex, intermediate, out is marginal, left anterior descending, right ventricular and other structures of the heart. Next is the external heart anterior view, that is brachiocephalic artery, superior vena cava, right pulmonary artery, ascending aorta, pulmonary trunk, right pulmonary vein, right coronary artery, anterior groove, marginal artery, small cardiac vein, inferior vena cava, left common carotid artery, and other things of the heart which ends up with the apex of the heart. Next, this is the posterior view of the heart, where you can see this other side of the heart with the inferior vena cava, right coronary artery, coronary sinus, posterior intraventricular artery, middle cardiac vein, and right ventricle, left ventricle, apex of the heart, greater cardiac nerve, auricle of the left atrium, left pulmonary vein, left pulmonary artery, and aorta. Gross anatomy of the heart. You can see the other parts with this same chambers of the heart. And coming to the circulation, your body resembles a large road map. There are routes of arteries that take you downtown to the heart of the city. So you all know the heart is the only thing which gives the complete circulation to our whole body. That's what it is called as the larger road map, which gives routes of to the arteries and veins down towards the heart of our city, which gives the complete blood supply to the circulatory system of our body. So, what is the powerful pump? The mechanical pump of a foundation uses a force to squint water at a great distance is called as a powerful pump. So, just as the fountain water pours out, just as the heart muscle connects to push blood at the greater force into the arteries, your heart will do this about 2.5 million times during your life. So, the heart does this during the heart does this function for 2.5 million times in our lifetime to give this pump, that is a powerful pumps which we breathe, which we get in our heart, which gives the main connection to the other parts of our body where we function, and it continuously gives a pumping sound throughout our life which doesn't has a stop. That is called as the powerful pump. The heart is called as the powerful pump. Just as the foundation forces out as the water out comes out from the fountain, the heart muscle also contracts to push the blood at the greater force into the arteries. So this is what the heart is, a mechanical pump which uses our blood to push out to the other great forces with these arteries. And heart rate can be determined by using of stethoscope. You all know only the heart rate can be evaluated with the help of the stethoscope. The average heart rate of some mammals you can see. The camel heart rate is of 28 beats per minute, cat that is 2000 beats per minute, and cow has 50 beats per minute, elephant 30 beats per minute, grey whale is 9 beats per minute, human we have 70 beats per minute, and iron 40 beats per minute, and mouse which has the largest heart rate that is 376 beats per minute. So this is the average heart rate of some mammals in our animals and human beings. What coming to the heart facts? During a typical day, the adult heart pumps out about 2000 gallons of blood. That could be enough blood to fill more than the 50 bathtubs. So we are producing 50 bathtubs of and blood which pumps during our entire circulatory system, which gives 2000 gallons of blood. In a typical adult at rest, the heart pumps 70 times each minute and sends out about 1.5 cup of blood with each beat. So 70 times the heart pumps in an adult, and heart pumps of about 5 liters approximately of blood each minute, which a total volume of the blood in an adult body. When heart pumps faster, it sends 4 times in this amount. The other hard facts are: hold out your hand and make it a fist. If you are a kid, your heart will be same size as your fist. As if for an adult, it is about a size of a two fists. So the heart of a kid will be very small when you close in your hands on a fist size, and whereas comparatively to an adult, it will be greater than the two fist. So the heart beats about 1,000, that is 100,000 times in one day, and about 30 million times in a year. During an average lifetime, the human heart will beat more than 2.5 million times. With each pump, heart surges out with a main artery speed of 16 inches per second. If were to pass through the whole of the size of the pin heart at its speed and pressure, it could spout over than the 10 feet. These are some of the interesting heart facts which we have seen now. So overall, coming to the end of this class, so overall we have seen about the structure of the heart, its main circulation, its uses, how the blood vessels are divided, about the structures of the heart anatomical structure, its parts, and heart valves, right atrium, left ventricle, right ventricle, left ventricle, nervous supply, blood supply, nerve supply to the heart, and the interesting heart facts. So many things we have seen about the heart. Hope you all understood my class.